You know, some knowledge is dangerous. There are books out there that aren't meant for just anyone. They hold secrets, the kind whispered in the darkest corridors of power. Secrets about how to keep a kingdom running, no matter what it takes. Today, we're going to crack one of those books open. All right, let's just jump right in with a scenario. Put yourself on the throne. Your most powerful minister, the guy everyone loves, the one you trust. He's a traitor. He's plotting to take you down, so what do? Arrest him? No way. That would mean instant civil war. His supporters would burn the kingdom to the ground. So what's your move? And listen, this isn't just some thought experiment. This is a real, classic political problem. The untouchable traitor. You've got this official, right? They're actively hurting the kingdom, but they're so powerful, so connected, you just can't touch them in the open. Their very presence is a ticking time bomb threatening your entire state. Well, if you want an answer to that problem, you have to go way back. I'm talking over 2,000 years to an ancient Indian text called the Arthashastra. It's attributed to this master strategist, Kautilya, and let me tell you, it's probably one of the most cold-blooded, practical guides to power ever written. And for our little problem, oh yeah, Kautilya has an answer. A very specific one. But his solution, it has nothing to do with courts or laws or what you and I might call justice. No, Kautilya's advice is ice cold. It's calculated, and it is absolutely final. It's all about one thing, eliminating the threat, for good, without leaving a trace. He actually has a name for this whole doctrine, and it's chillingly perfect. He calls it silent punishment. Think about that. It's exactly what it sounds like, a tool for when the kingdom has to strike, but it absolutely cannot be seen. The original term is Tusnim-danda, and you can think of it as the official policy for the unofficial kill. We're not talking about a public execution to make an example of someone. No, this is about making sure that person just stops being a problem, and nobody ever knows why. And look, I'm not just making this up or interpreting it loosely. Kautilya is crystal clear. These are his actual words. He says the king should use these methods without hesitation. Just let that sink in. For him, when the kingdom's survival's on the line, things like morality, well, they become a luxury you just can't afford. So you're probably wondering, how exactly does this work? Well, Kautilya doesn't just talk in theories. Oh no, he gives you a playbook, a detailed, frankly terrifying catalog of techniques for making people disappear. He basically sorts his methods into three main types. First, you can turn their own family against them. Second, you can set an elaborate fatal trap. Or third, and this is pretty genius, if you've got a few traitors, you just manipulate them into taking each other out. Let's get into the grisly details of a few of these. Okay, first up, we have a classic. A method of entrapment that's designed to look like nothing more than a tragic accident. So, here's how it works. You give your traitor a huge honor. You put him in charge of an army for some dangerous mission. The catch? The army you give him is weak, and sprinkled throughout its ranks are your assassins. At just the right moment, they take him out. The official story? He died a hero in battle. You even throw him a state funeral, mourn publicly. And just like that, problem solved. All right, this next one is really something else. It's all about weaponizing two very powerful things, lust and public reputation. The setup is diabolically simple. You give the traitor a place to stay, right near your own palace rooms, as a sign of honor. Then, one of your agents, a woman disguised to look like the queen, is discovered in his apartment. See? The crime isn't treason anymore. It's a shocking, scandalous assault on the queen's honor. He's executed not as a political enemy, but as a monster. His reputation is completely shredded, right along with his life. Okay, get ready for this one. It's an absolute masterclass in psychological warfare. It takes the traitor's own hospitality and turns it into his execution. Picture this. The king is talking to the traitor and says something like, "Wow, I hear your chef is amazing." The traitor, wanting to score points, invites the king over for dinner. Perfect. Right before the meal, one of the king's agents sneaks in and poisons the food. Then, during dinner, the king follows custom and politely asks his host, the traitor, to taste the food first. The moment he does, he's caught. He's immediately put to death for trying to poison the king. He gets executed for a crime the state just framed him for. But of all of them, maybe the darkest, most cynical method is the one that turns family against itself. So, one of your agents gets close to the traitor's son. Let's say the son is ambitious. The agent whispers a secret in his ear. You're not really his son. You are the king's secret, illegitimate child. The agent then convinces the son to kill the traitor, the man he now thinks is his fake father, and in return he'll be named the new crown prince. The son, blinded by ambition, does it. He kills the traitor. And what happens next? The king immediately has the son executed for the most horrible crime imaginable, parricide. Killing your own father. Boom. 2 threats, gone, just like that. So you have to be asking, how on earth could anyone justify this stuff? Is this just a fancy guide to becoming a state-sponsored murderer? Well, Kautilya would say absolutely not. He would frame it as something different, something necessary. And this is really the core of his whole argument. For Kautilya, this isn't murder. Murder's messy, it's chaotic, it's driven by passion. This is surgery. It's a clean, clinical procedure. You're not killing a person. You're removing a cancer from the state before it spreads and turns into a full-blown civil war. The entire justification is saving the whole patient, the whole kingdom. And that's the key, you see. The motivation can't be personal. It's not about revenge or hate. The whole thing has to be completely impersonal, driven by one single goal: keeping the kingdom stable and secure. It really is the ultimate, most brutal expression of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And when you step back and look at it from that cold, logical point of view, well, the brutal effectiveness of it all is, honestly, it's terrifying. I mean, just tick off the boxes. The traitor? Eliminated. Their powerful allies? Confused, scattered, leaderless. The king's reputation? Totally clean. He looks like a victim, or at the very least, completely uninvolved. And the big one? Civil war is avoided. The state is safe. From a purely strategic perspective, it's a flawless victory. And Kautilya sums up the whole philosophy himself. The kingdom will continue, free from these dangers. That's it. That's the end goal. A stable kingdom, cleansed of its enemies, ready for the future. It's such a simple justification for such unbelievably dark actions. Which really brings us right back to that fundamental dilemma, doesn't it? Kautilya's methods, they might work. They might secure the state, but they're built on a foundation of lies, conspiracy, and murder. And it leaves us wrestling with this timeless, really unsettling question. To keep order, to stop everything from falling into chaos, do you have to become the very thing you're fighting against? Is the real price of order silence?